What's up, guys? It's Saiyan here, and today we are looking at another old school Pokemon theme deck. This is Power Reserve. Don't be fooled by the Dragon Ball collectible card game playmat. One day I'm hopefully gonna get a Pokemon playmat. So, theme deck. This is from the first expansion of the game, Jungle. And because my friend and I, we tend to have a lot of theme deck showdowns. I was looking for a theme deck that's actually decent enough with sort of draw power, decent enough with a payoff to be able to fare relatively easily against most of the theme decks from this era. So what we get here is the usual stuff, but because this is from Jungle, in the Jungle set, we still got these little marbles, which by the way, I absolutely adore these. You get 10 of these. Later on, they moved on to paper, which of course is more environmentally friendly. But these little bath marbles, I always love these. And we get a cute Vileplume coin as well. And of course, the rulebook. This is version 3 that we find here, which I'm not sure is. Well, they must be. I mean, I bought this used. It was about £20. Uh, um, People who say like, "Oh, it's impossible to find theme decks." Well, you're not looking hard enough. You're not looking long enough, and you're not looking at the right places at the right time as well, which is of course very important with any old card game. So, Power Reserve, cool little deck. Two color. We have grass and psychic, and let's jump into the Pokemons straight away. We are running 2 Oddish and 1 Gloom, and immediately looking at this draw power. So with the Sprout, we can search our deck for another Oddish and put it on the bench. So we can, for 1 grass energy, deal 10 damage, potentially paralyzed, and then go into Gloom. Gloom will give us a definite poison, which is also very good in sort of like this theme deck format. Because obviously most decks won't have full heal, maybe 1 full heal, and also not many switch effects. So any sort of any one of these status effects in theme deck duels are usually pretty good. Foul Odor isn't bad either if you go up to 2 energies and you get another Oddish down. If you got the Gloom in your hand, if you want to evolve, obviously that Foul Odor does deal 20 damage, which isn't bad, but it also confuses both Gloom and your opponent's Pokemon, which can be obviously good, nice little stall tactic, but mostly we're just looking at, you know, getting Oddish down, sprouting, or poison powdering with Gloom. Moving on, we have a full set of Bellsprout, and we have 2 Weeping Bells. Same scenario here, but I think Bellsprout is a little bit better in terms of call for family only costing 1 energy. And again, we can just get out these Bellsprouts, and we kind of guarantee to be putting down more basics. And when we do draw from our deck, we hopefully have a higher chance of drawing into one of our payoff Pokemon, or getting a trainer card, as well as obviously half of all these decks are energies, unfortunately. Bellsprout only has 40 HP, whereas Oddish has 50, but we still get a 1 energy attack in the form of a Wine Whip, which is good. Again, I think all our Pokemon has a 1 energy attack, which is just, again, it's just really good for theme deck battles, that you can just slap that energy on and immediately start to deal energy. And Weeping Bell is actually one of our payoff Pokemon. The 70 HP is already pretty good. Poison Powder is not too bad. Uh, Obviously, we want to get the heads. We want to poison, but Razor Leaf is a really good one to deal 30 damage for 2 energy, particularly in a jungle theme deck. So literally the first expansion theme deck, I think is pretty good. I mean, obviously, in a regular environment where you don't, play theme deck versus theme deck, probably wouldn't be super great. But again, I'm looking at this very, very specific limited bubble here. So Weeping Bell, one of our payoff cards. Bellsprout just gets us out more Bellsprout. That's pretty good. We're looking for that consistency. And then we also have 4 female Nidorans and 2 Nidorinas. One thing that's pretty cool about this deck is that most of our Pokemon have somewhere to go. So you don't just get like that basic Pokemon that would have the evolutions, but none is included in the decks. We actually have the Oddish that can evolve into Gloom, Bellsprout to Weeping Bell, female Nidoran into Nidorina. Female Nidoran, same story again. Look at that second attack, call for family. You can search your deck for a male or female Nidoran and put it onto the bench. What's really cool is that it does actually put it onto the bench as well. So even if you know that Nidoran is gonna be KO'd, you know you're putting down another Pokemon that you can send up, and you're not losing the game. Fury swipes can be good, but obviously it's one of those, you can deal 0 damage up to 30 damage, but at least again we have a 1 energy attack on Nidoran. And Nidorina is okay. I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to evolve into Nidorina. This evolution in here particularly is just good to get rid of some sort of a status effect. But Nidorina can confuse on a heads for 1, or if you sort of grow the energies on her on the bench, she will be able to double kick for a grass and 2 colorless, but you have to flip 2 coins. Yes, you can have a good damage output of 60, but let's be honest, more often than not, you're going to be dealing 30 damage for 3 energies, and Weeping Bell does that without having to flip the coins. So there you go. Nidorina is mostly just there if we want to get Nidoran out of a status effect, so I wouldn't necessarily put all my efforts into getting a Nidorina down. Can be a bit of an energy black hole as well. But at least if our hand is full of psychic energies, we can put those here and we can still save up the grass for other Pokemon. So these were the grass Pokemon, and as you could see, so we have 10 basics that can all search out another basic, which is pretty good, and then we can take all these guys somewhere, we can evolve them, so that is a fairly good starting point. Now we're gonna go to the payoffs, and actually the deck itself is advertised with a copy of Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan actually does double duty here, actually triple duty. I mean, Kangaskhan is good as a starting Pokemon, just be able to fetch each turn, draw more cards, put more energies onto Kangaskhan, and then just carry on Comet Punching. I mean, we're likely to deal 20-40 damage each turn. Sometimes you might luck into an 80, which is going to be absolutely amazing. But we also have a basic with 90 HP here, and that is nothing to be underestimated in a theme deck environment. Not only that, but even in old school gameplay when it was base fossil format, Kangaskhan was a really it was an MVP card really. And also, last but not least, if we do come up against a psychic deck, not a problem. Yes, our female Nidorans, Nidorinas do get affected, but we can bring out Kangaskhan, who has a psychic resistance. And also, we have fire weakness as well as psychic weakness. This one has fighting weakness, so we're not stuck with playing against one particular deck and there's nothing we can do. We actually have options, and hopefully we can draw into those actions as well. Again, another card that carries on drawing, which is very, very good. We also have one Jinx. Again, psychic weakness. Yes, probably not the greatest, but then most psychic Pokemon do have psychic weakness, so that's what it is. Double Slap, okay. Yes, again, we have a 1 energy attack, so not too bad. But realistically, Meditate is the big payoff here on Jinx. Another 70 HP basic. Nothing to laugh at in this format. Meditate only deals 20 damage, but it does deal an extra 10 damage for each damage counter on the defending Pokemon. So it can be really good to get some chit damage up on one of our opponent's Pokemon with, Nidoran, Weeping Bell, whatever, even with a Gloom or an Oddish. And then you bring the small retreat. All these grass have only a 1 retreat cost, which is really good again. In particularly in these decks where we don't really have many switch cards. Bring out Jinx, and then just be able to finish that job off with a Meditate, and then you can go back double slapping, you can go back meditating, whatever is required here. And then finally, the big boy. We have 4 Abras and 2 Kadabras. Abra is a brilliant starting Pokemon as long as you have something else to put on your bench because of that free retreat cost. Abra is a really good one. It does have a 1 energy attack and it can paralyze on a flip as well. Only 30 HP though, which isn't a lot, but the real payoff of the deck is Kadabra, of course. Super Psy for 50 damage of 3 energies, and one of them can be a grass, which is, of course, very important for us. But we also have Recover, which is, again, just having all these built in deck thinning, having some card draw on Kangaskhan, and having Kadabra's ability to discard a Psychic Energy and just completely refresh Kadabra is big. It's really big, really cool. Um, we have so many options in this particular deck, and it's actually it's one of those decks. Imagine if you got this as a new player back in 1999, 98, 99 as a new player. If you played against another theme deck with your buddies, this deck is actually fairly consistent. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the trainer cards. We get 1 Pokédex, which again, particularly with Kangaskhan, really good because it gives us that top deck manipulation. We know what we're gonna draw into with Kangaskhan. We're gonna know what we're gonna draw into for the next few turns as well, so that's good. We also get 2 Bills, and that's also really good. Works with Pokédex and just generally just draw 2 cards. Obviously, Bill is legendary. We do get a switch, particularly good for the Kadabras and Kangaskhan, but even for Jinx. So do sit on this switch, because all the rest is either free retreat or 1 energy. Don't waste that switch. Make sure you have that switch ready for if you want to save that Kangaskhan. Or you can't recover again, make sure you got that ready for that Kadabra to save that Kadabra. We also get 2 Gust of Wind, which is pretty cool. Most of the theme deck battles, you're normally at the mercy of your opponent. It's very difficult to pick and choose what you will be able to KO. They might want to hold on to something if it has like a Pokemon power that's benefiting them, or just fueling some big evolution Pokemon up on the bench. Well, if you know that they're going for that, just Gust of Wind it out and dispatch it quick before it does any harm to you. And finally, we get 3 potions. 3 potions indeed are very cool. We have some low HP basics. We don't necessarily want them to be KO'd, even though most of them is not a massive loss, but still we don't want our opponent to get card advantage from their prize cards. So having access to 3 potion is pretty cool actually. It can just make the difference between being able to keep that Pokemon out for another turn or losing it, and maybe we are struggling, we don't quite have the energies to put the next attacker up or something like that. So 3 potions is really cool. And then finally, as usual, all these decks, they have 28 energies, and a bunch of that is grass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's got to be 17 and 11 psychic there to make that 28 energies. So I picked this deck up not too long ago. We'll actually be testing it tomorrow with my buddy, so I'm super curious to see how it's going to perform. Um, in terms of theme decks, my favorite one is well, I run Cold Fusion from Neo Genesis, which is a really good one, but it's quite an advanced one. The Neo decks are obviously stronger, but I also like Blackout. Who wouldn't like Blackout? Obviously, you got 4 energy removals, 1 super energy removal. You got bloody Hitmonchan in that one. So I'm really curious to see if this deck can be kind of like on the same level as perhaps those two. But up until next time, guys, Bussy and signing out. Peace.